Good day and welcome to the Vitality Project. I'm Dr. Bob. Thanks for joining me. Yesterday, we revisited how it is that we can relax our brains and our bodies and help in moving from what we've called the red alert brain, which insists on getting its way. The red alert brain has these inner requirements, and there's something along the lines of my way or else. So we're learning how to relax these requirements of the red alert brain and move into a more fluid relationship with the resting brain, which rather than requirements, emphasizes preferences. And those preferences might go like this. I would certainly prefer thus and so, but I won't die if I don't have my way. Our exercise was beginning to open into that by allowing you to relax the requirements of the red alert brain, and I'm curious, how did your experience unfold with these two brain modes? We were comparing our homework assignment of 2 days before with yesterday's. One included mindfulness to relax into resting brain. The first one did not. So I'm curious, what did you find? The psychoanalyst Melanie Klein, K-L-E-I-N, made a very helpful distinction between two quite different approaches to life. She called them positions. The first position, she said, is that of the victim identity, where in a sense, we feel like we're always being done to, and we don't dare trust anyone because they could do it to us. That's the first position of victim identity. The second position that Melanie Klein identified has more to do with the ability to grieve that we don't always get what we want, while we can yet remain confident in our capacity to move through that disappointment. In other words, the disappointment isn't gonna kill us, as well as stay optimistic about bringing about preferable outcomes still in the future. That's the second position. So her first position, Melanie Klein's first position, I believe, is very closely related to what we looked at yesterday. This reminder of the connection between our inner requirements and the red alert brain. That first position is very much mired in the red alert brain's requirements. The second position, on the other hand, relates much more closely to the resting brain's shift from requirements to preferences. It'd be hard for me to overstate how important this distinction is. And this shift from requirements to preferences includes a very crucial capacity, namely the capacity to mourn or grieve temporary frustration of our wishes. We don't always get what we want. But it also enables us to maintain courage to move on toward our desired goals later on, so that we don't give up. It'd be the opposite of learned helplessness. It's a kind of learned optimism that has the capacity to weather the storm of frustrated wishes and frustrated preferences, and to grieve them, and to also stay courageous and forward-looking in terms of reaching our goals. So again, the distinction we're making here, it's a key one, is preferences, not requirements. For today, I'd like you to spend a few minutes reflecting on a recent frustration, one in which you didn't get what you wanted. Once you've identified that frustration, I'd like you to examine it more deeply. Let me ask you, let me have you ask yourself a few questions. Were you able to reframe your desired goal in the situation in terms of preferences, again, versus requirements? Were you able to grieve the blocking of that particular goal's achievement? That's on the one hand. Or on the other, instead, did you end up feeling done to? Maybe by another person, or perhaps it was just simply life. And found yourself identifying with what we've talked about here with Melanie Klein, which is the role of the victim. You didn't get what you required, therefore you were victimized, you were done to. And again, it's making that distinction between what you required in the red alert brain mode versus what you might have preferred in the resting brain mode. Let's just see what you find, okay? I want to thank you for joining me today. Please stay well, healthy. Take good care between now and when we see each other. I look forward to following up on this homework as we continue to move forward in this material right now. It's essential kind of bedrock material for being able to sustain successful recovery. Thanks again for joining me.